Good evening, radio listeners. Welcome to the program of Public Opinion. We're in the studios of PJE3 90.3 FM. We're also streaming live on YouTube, where you can connect us on Fab Radio at youtube.com. In the studios with us, we have none other than our distinguished councilman, Mr. Koos Sneek. Mr. Sneek, welcome to the program of Public Opinion.
Good evening, Mr. Carty. Thank you for having me here.
We're very happy that you can be present with us this evening to bring us up to date on some of your activities, some of your discussions, all that is happening with you personally in the political arena for Statia. We know that you were part member of the Democratic Party, and at a given point in time, something has happened where you decided to opt to become an independent member at that time on the Island Council. Was there not a possibility that the relationship between you and the Democratic Party could have been saved, as it is has been a concern to the general public?
Well, Mr. Carty, I think it's history. We had more than a year ago that it happened that I separated from the Democratic Party. There were some talks within the party to try to make amends, but at the end of the day that didn't work out, and I think it was for me a good decision. I had a difference of opinion with the party, not so much as where the island need to go as about the party itself. I believe if you lose the elections 3 times in a row, that it is time to change course, and that didn't happen. And I tried to give my opinion about it, and my opinion was not shared by the rest of the party. So there was no other alternative for me than to separate our ways.
Okay, all right. So there has been no turning back at that point in time. You mentioned that there was a time where they was looking to see if things could have worked out, but that didn't happen.
I think that were some people within the party, not everybody, and at the end of the day, it didn't happen.
Okay.
For me, it is a closed chapter.
Okay, it is a closed chapter for you at this point in time. And since then, bringing us back to present now, we see that you have been very, very active in the council. We know that you have, during the federal government election, you have also been active, being a member at that point in time with the Democratic Party, but you also ran under the CDA party. Today we understand, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're branching out with the CDA party here in Statia. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct. As a matter of fact, I'm a member of the CDA party since 2016, since before the elections before the last, the one before the last. I ran on the list of the CDA for the second chamber twice. The first time was in 2017, and that was when I was still a member of the Democratic Party, and the party actually became a sister party of the CDA. And then I ran again in, earlier this year, and now on my own.
Okay.
And, I think I did not too bad in the elections as a single candidate, number 52 on the list.
Right. That gave you the inspiration to decide to connect with the CDA locally here?
No, I had that idea for some time already. I am an independent island council member, and I have to look at the future. And I thought, how can I still continue in politics, and maybe not only myself, but also the people around me. And then I had the option to start a new local party or to branch out from the CDA party. And since I'm a member of the CDA already, and I discussed it also with the party board in the Netherlands, and they agreed with me, and they allowed me to form a branch here in Statia. And I think that is the best way to go. There are a lot of things that we want to see happening on Statia. There are a lot of things we want to change, and with all these changes and these things, we need assistance from the politics in the Netherlands. And I thought it is maybe the best way to get things done when you work from within.
Correct.
And since we had a relation, I had a relation with the CDA already, I decided to continue with that.
Okay. Now, locally, many people, Statia is a very close-knit island, and it's the first time that such a party, it's not a local party, but it's a branch off from the Netherlands. And many would ask the question, what is CDA coming with, especially seeing to the fact that we still have the Dutch underground here in Statia?
Well, for starters, yeah, of course, yeah, it is a national party, but it is also a local party. CDA is taking part in most of the municipalities in the Netherlands, and well, we are a special municipality, so I think it's also it is a unicum. It is the first time it ever happened in the three Bes Islands that a national party also branches out locally, but it is not an abnormal thing to do, and the advantage is well, that you being part of an established national party already, which has quite some influence in the Dutch politics. So you know for yourself, the state secretary, Mr. Knops, is also a member of the CDA party. So from that side, I think it is the good thing to do, to join. It opens doors. There is an extensive network that you can tap into, that we are busy tapping into already. There is a science institute, the Steenkamp Institute, that you can tap into. They have all kind of courses and trainings for politicians and upcoming politicians. There's an extensive library that we now can tap into. I think being a part of a larger entity, at the end of the day, especially it is the entity is also in the Hague. It will be good for the development of Statia, and I think we as local brands, we're going to make use of it to the max.
Okay. What do you expect from the public? I mean, in terms of supporting the CDA party.
Listen, it is not so much of supporting the CDA party; it's supporting the CDA Statia party, and the CDA Statia party is made up of stations.
Okay.
And so
do you when you say CDA Statia party is made up from stations, do you have prospective politicians or members already joining or have intentions to join with your party?
For us to become a branch of the CDA party, we need to have at least 10 members.
Okay.
Well, we have 11 now, and last week, Thursday evening, we did a meet and greet. It was not that well attended because of it rained Thursday evening, but that was our first introduction to the.
And how did that go? I mean, besides the rain, what was the comment and the sentiment of those that was
Those who were there, they were pretty enthusiastic about how we represent ourselves and what our goals are and how we want to get foot on the ground in the political arena in Statia.
Okay, CDA Statia, once when that time comes around, the people can expect, when I say good representation, I know in the past you have sat in Island Council and there has been, one would say, many lack of disrespect. Would the CDA party be maintaining protocol and maintaining the heads high where Statia representation is concerned?
That is the intention. Also, and that's also a cry of the public, the voter population. A lot of people are looking for younger people to join. Most of the present politicians are around my age, and I am 70 years old already. And the goal is that we are looking at a younger basis. And we started already with that. The potential leader of the CDA branch on Statia is Miss Ira Fleming. Well, she is in her early 30s, and that is the type of membership and of people with political potential that we are looking at primarily to run the party and get it where it needs to go.
Great. Statia is still, what I would say, the Dutch still have their boots on the ground here in Statia. And you has been one in many Island Council discussion mentioned that you had first supported the intervention. Today, we also have heard that you no longer support the intervention. Seeing that branching from the CDA. And I don't know at this point in time if we have a new government, Dutch government form as yet. But if that is the case, if not that is the case, what are the prospects for bringing normalcy back to station?
First of all, I want to correct you. I still support the intervention.
You still support the intervention?
Yes, I believe that was the right way to do. We were in a very difficult situation at the time, and the island was governed very poorly. So I supported the intervention, and I still do. The problem I have is the execution. And I remember at the time that we had a committee of wise men, maybe you remember that?
Yes.
In 2017, they wrote a report and they made the recommendations how to go about it. And also in the meeting I had with them at the time, I said, listen, I want an intervention, but I want a quick one. And I want that within a year they'll be back to normal. But they said that was impossible, it would last at least 2 years. Well, that was it started in February 2018, and we are almost 4 years further now, and I find that is unacceptable long.
Do you think that, do you see that intervention coming to a close anytime soon?
That is my goal. I believe that the speed it goes now it's too slow. And I'm not sure why it takes so long. And there's also that we were in a discussion with Knops. We at the time we sent a proposal to him, supported by all 5 island council members. He turned that down, and I believe that proposal still can work. We are discussing what we call a road timetable. How to move forward to get out of the situation that we are in. We had very difficult, or actually hardly any negotiations with the government commissioner about that road timetable. On a certain point in time it was presented by the government commissioner, and for us to go along with it, which we didn't do. I myself and the PLP party voted against this road timetable. The next step is that I believe that the government commission need to come with an adjusted timetable, because if you check the whole runnings about this intervention, this timetable need to be set in cooperation with the island council, and now the island council turned it down, that it means something need to be done. On the same token, we decided, and as a matter of fact I'm leaving Friday already to go to the Netherlands. The other party members, at least most of them, are joining me a week after, and we are going to bring our situation, our position, to the members of the parliament of the first and second chamber.
Great. You've mentioned that the cooperation between the appointed commissioners was the timetable and the structure of the timetable wasn't up to date for you and the other members of the island council.
No, there was no input from our part. Of course, they say we have been informed through all kind of meetings, presentations and things like that, but our input was not really taken into consideration. And also the proposal that we made at the time, when it was, I think in May, when Knops visited the island, that proposal was totally turned down. Nothing what was in that proposal has been considered. While we think it was a valid proposal, we don't want to rush into a system where we are all free again. We want to have a normally appointed executive council again by the island council, and we have no problem with the government commissioner to staying on for a prolonged period of time as like a security to avoid that we fall back in the same situation where we were 4 years ago.
Great. Just about a few months ago, if not a month and a half ago, both you and your colleague, Councilman Clyde from Cotton, has put the appointed commissioners through a drill boot camp, if I may say. There has been some real extensive discussion between both you and Mr. Clive and Putnam with regards to the performance of Governor Commissioner Alida Francis and Deputy Governor Commissioner Ms. Toot. Emphatically, you guys mentioned that it seems like they were not in favor of discussing this particular timetable. How do you feel about their performance where that is concerned, in particular with regards to that comment in the council meeting?
You know, the thing is, the government commissioner is actually a civil servant, and also the acting government commissioner, so they have to report to BZK, to the ministry. And I think it looked like there's very little leeway to negotiate and debate with the Island Council how to move forward with this whole intervention. And that is where, for me, the buck stops. I believe as Island Council, we need to get our authority back as fast as possible, and right now it takes far too long. The way already how it went, we had a government commissioner who stayed 2 years, and then he was unceremoniously removed together with his deputy. We get a new government commissioner with Alida Francis as the deputy. He lasted for a year. Actually, he did do pretty okay, but he had other more important things to do. He had to put our party, the party is that member.
He's also a member of the CDA.
Yeah, he is at the moment he is the interim president
well,
of the board.
When you look at all of that, Mr. Knops, yourself, and even I forgot his name, Mr. Van Rij, that was a government commissioner while Ms. Francis was deputy. One would believe that to go back on the intervention, or actually to stop the intervention, would have been an easy object based on the fact, or something that would be easy to be executed, seeing to the fact that we have the key players where the CDA government is concerned.
Yeah, and I was actually disappointed that Van Rij left, but I understood his position. He needs to do what he finds that is the priority, and apparently at that time he's still behind the scenes. He does some things for the island, but of course that was a setback for us. And then we get the third set actually with Miss Francis and Miss Toot, and I have the strong feeling that at the time when those two were appointed, that there was not really a clear consideration as of the capacity and the experience that you need to get this island out of the situation that we are in. And I do not want to bad talk or criticize anybody, I guess you listened to the Island Council meeting,
yes,
what you're referring to on October the 14th. In my opinion, we need more experienced government, bestuurders, I can bring up the English word, to guide us through the process. And
so if I may interrupt you, you mentioned that these are civil servants. Are these junior civil servants? I always hear in the Island Council discussion that the Dutch send junior civil servants, senior civil servants.
Yeah.
So is Alida Miss Francis Miss Toots junior civil servants?
I don't want to call them junior civil servants, but they're not. To me, they miss the qualities, the experience, the governing experience to get us through this situation. And I don't blame them, because they are who they are. It is the state secretary who appointed them, and he's supposed to take a decision that is in the interest of the whole process, and that does not unnecessarily prolong it.
But don't you think that, not wanting to go too much in depth, don't you think that the state secretary was more looking at pleasing the people of Statia by appointing one of their locals, because he probably in that very same October 14 Island Council, it was mentioned, where you mentioned specifically that you did a back check. I also did a back check on you, Ms. Stoots, and Ms. Van Putten was stating that it was not the choice of Ms. Francis to be at that point in time, but rather it was the choice actually for Ms. Stoots to be. Whether or not that is the case, the point is they chose a native, they chose a local, to be able to execute and take up the position?
Well, the local was there already, of course, as the acting at the time with Van Rij. And it appeared to be obvious that at the end of the day she would step in his place.
Correct.
And I could have lived with that if they had put a strong, experienced, I got a government manager next to her, and
Okay.
that didn't happen. Miss Toet is a middle class civil servant, and again there is nothing negative to her, but that's the fact. And I think we didn't deserve that. If we really want to get through this process as soon as possible, then you need to put the right people in the right place. And as a matter of fact, also, because the problem was at some point in time, Mr. Knops made a statement to that regard. He said that those people who wanted to take the job, he didn't want, and the people that he wanted to take the job, they didn't want.
Okay.
And that already was a signal that he couldn't get
The
somebody
persons that he wanted.
that really fits the job and that he wanted. So he went a step back, and that's how we are in the situation now.
Okay. We're very happy for that explanation. Now, for radio listeners, the number is 318-5828 in case you want to call and ask the distinguished Councilman Mr. Koos Sneek any question you may have. Bear in mind, we have exactly 45 more minutes. Mr. Sneek is only here with us for 1 hour. We have 45 more minutes to go with him as we will continue our discussion. Mr. Sneek, you know, we just this week you all talk about the Makana boat, the ferry service, and you in one of the discussion from the online news outlet, you've made a comment concerning the airport. What is your view, or what is your explanation or your concerns between the ferry service and the airport? We have a newly erected airport, and one of your comments was, we have a new airport but very, very poor or little air service coming. What are your concerns with that?
Yeah, the thing is, and you say it right, we have this nice airport building, it cost a couple of million, and then the government decided not to use that terminal building, but instead starting a ferry service. And I wonder where this idea of this ferry service comes from. And I asked it last week Friday, we had an Island Council meeting, and I got as an answer from the acting government commissioner that it is based upon a report that has been drafted by the Hartman committee. Well, Mr. Hartman is the former CEO of KLM, and I know that report, and that report is about airlift. It is about the possibility to make the air connections between the islands public transportation. And yes, there's also mentioned one or two lines about the ferry service, but basically negative, that it is never going to replace air connectivity, and it is far from I call it feasible to start a ferry service. And now this, at the same token, I hear that they use that study, that report, to substantiate the choice for a ferry service. Also, what I question is that at no point in time this idea came from our island, and the island was not involved, besides the government commissioner and a few people from the government departments. And when I listened to the government commissioner in a meeting, I start to figure out why.
Why?
SEBA it is very beneficial for SEBA, and she said that at the moment already about 50% of the visitors to SEBA, they come by boat. You have the Edge sailing there for some years already, and I think there was one or two other boats as well, but lately it is the Edge. And while on Statia there is hardly any visitor coming to the island by ferry.
Right.
And so it is SEBA who's pushing it and to make it like an West island for the bovenin a project. Stasia had to come on board, and I find that is a very peculiar situation, and I am very skeptical. I hope that the future proves me wrong, and that it will really benefit the island, but I have my doubts. Also, there are a number of attempts being made in the past already. The latest one I think was Velasquez with the B.
It is boat service.
He was to start a ferry service too. I think the boat was once or twice, and then it stopped. And I know about other attempts that went the same way. I also some years ago we got the Dutch company Wagenborg. Wagenborg is an established ferry service in the Netherlands. They service the Waddeneilanden from Friesland, or Groningen I think. And they at the time they said as soon as they going to get the responder from the oil terminal, the red boat that you see there out,
right.
That is their boat. As soon as they get that in commission, the next thing they're going to do is start the ferry service. They didn't. And I asked, did anybody ask them why they didn't? No, they just didn't ask, and they just decided from the clear blue sky, let's start the ferry service. While we were focusing on airlift. And as a matter of fact, it was February 1st, the Island Council passed a motion to that extent, to see to it, the government commissioner, that it goes into the negotiations with The Hague to get airlift as being public transportation.
But recently I saw, not to cut you across, recently I saw an ad in the Best Report where they're saying that the Dutch is going to subsidize Winair now to cover the cost to have a frequency of airlift between these islands.
They subsidized Winair because of the COVID situation, and that subsidy has been terminated. In the meantime, Winair has asked for an extra subsidy, and that has, as far as I know, been turned down. Also, even recently, while we are talking about opening up the island, Winair announces their high season schedule. They're going to fly 3 times a day to Stasia. Well, I live here 34 years, and when I came into Stasia, Winair used to come here 5 or 6 times a day.
That's correct.
And now we're talking about high season, with twice as many people living on the island. While a resort is being, it's in operation already, they need to fill more and more rooms, and Winair announces that they fly 3 times a day.
So you're still missing 2?
We're still missing 2 to
meet up from
5.
the past, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Also what I noticed, and I think it was, what's his name, from SEBA, Livingston.
Right.
He asked for a connection with our islands and Bonaire. And that is something I have on the table for a long time already. I believe we are all Best Islands, we're all part of the Netherlands. They need to be able to get from one island, Best Island, Caribbean Netherlands Island, to the other without going through 2 other countries. If you have to go now to Bonaire, you have to fly to St. Martin, which is another country. It is in the kingdom, but not in the Netherlands. Then you have to fly to Curaçao
and hop over.
And at the end of the day, literally, you end up in Bonaire. Well, I think there should be a possibility that you can get it straight away. And now we are talking about that again. It was also part of the motion that we passed in February already. And what is Winair doing? We start to fly St. Martin, Bonaire.
Right.
And that is to.
But right now they are doing for the high season. They're going to be flying St. Martin, Bonaire.
Yeah, they're doing
just
that to undercut our plans. Of course, we want to fly from Stasia to Bonaire. But Winair, and I have nothing against Winair personally, but Winair's interest lies in St. Martin. Winair wants our people, no matter what, to fly through PJIA Airport. Because if you fly directly to Bonaire, we're not flying to
St. Martin
Airport. So they're missing all these taxes that we are paying there. And if you check a Winair ticket, it's about $250 round trip to Stasia. And from the $250, at least a third are taxes and expenses that we have to pay for at the airport in St. Maarten.
Wow, wow. So coming back to Statius Airport, what is the activities or what is the future prognosis for Statia Airport?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're
well, just like you, I read in the papers that the winner is flying 3 times a day. Well, a nice, beautiful airport terminal which costs millions, and you get 3 airplanes in a day. That does not add up. I also.
But it's not mentioned. Is there a possibility that there are investors or people on the island looking for potential investors to do air service to the islands?
You know, you have those airlines already. You have St. Maarten Air. You have Easy Air from Bonaire. It's actually which is actually our own. It's paid for by the PCN, by the pension fund from our civil servants.
Right.
So you can consider it our airline. And as a matter of fact, I was having and it was I think Thursday. I was having lunch with one of the island council members from Seba by Ocean View, and I see Easy Air coming in, and I made I wonder what they came to do. So I sent a WhatsApp to the guy that I know from PCN. I said, you know what Easy Air is doing here? Yeah, that is for ZVK patients.
Okay.
But that aircraft can hold, I think, 28 people or something like that. There are not 28 patients on that plane.
So who's paying the rest?
The government.
The Dutch government.
Well, or the ZVK. But why, if that is a regular flight, and he said he thinks it goes twice a week, why don't you open up that flight also for people that are not going for ZVK? It is good for the airline. I guess the ZVK needs to pay like a charter fee, so it might be cheaper from them, and our people can travel straight to Bonaire. And
that would be a plus.
Onwards to the Netherlands, because I'm going to the Netherlands like 2 or 3 times a year. If you buy a ticket Amsterdam for St. Maarten Amsterdam, it costs you $1,400–1,500. If you buy a ticket Bonaire Amsterdam, it costs you $700. So
and how is
it's
that?
A lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper via Bonaire.
That's policy from KLM. Some years ago I asked how they are calculating that. Yeah, that's company policy, but it is almost twice as expensive to fly from
St. Maarten
to Amsterdam than from Bonaire.
Okay.
So also for that it would benefit us, because for $300 you can get in Bonaire.
So at the end of the day, where do you see Statia Beautiful Airport heading?
I have no idea. I really hope that we are going to get other airlines in, because even with 5 flights a day, if you want to develop your tourism product, and it looks like we are on the way to do that with the resort behind the mountain, we need good and affordable airlift. Because also I find that the $250, or even more it is nowadays, that you pay for a round trip, that doesn't really attract tourists.
Right. On the issue still on the airport, I mean, we still hear little concerns within the public. Nothing can be done with the airport anymore because it's done erected, it's up and running. But there's many complain that people can't see their loved ones off. They gotta go along the fence line. It's is that a matter of security policy, or could it have been that still people could have been able to say bye to their loved ones and their families?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is security policy. I made use of the airport a few times myself too. And I see also things that need improving, and it is a pity that we talked about a new airport so many years already, that those things have not been taken into consideration. If you check in on the first flight in the morning and it is not raining, you get sunburn, and if it is raining, you get wet. And it is not only you as a passenger, but also the employees from Winner that are basically in the open, and that is something that is, in my opinion, that is outdated. And I remember when they designed that airport, it was even the intention to leave the departure hall open, because we are in the tropics. So at that time we were able, there was a town hall meetings to convince the developer, the designer van, listen, the departure hall need to be closed. Yeah, but then we need to put airco. Yes, yeah. That's how it works in the tropics. And I think also eventually this whole check-in area in front of the check-in counters, and also the bar, that need to be inside, that cannot continue to be outside.
Talking about air condition, I recall in the Island Council meeting, there was there was a Dutch person in Holland made a very, very strange comment. Yeah. And I understood that the decision at that point in time was to send a strict letter. Was that letter submitted?
No, I don't think a letter has been sent out, but it was not just a person, it was the Minister of Kingdom Relations, Interior Affairs and Kingdom Relations, and she, Miss Ollongren, and she was of the opinion that for us to save on our electricity bill, we should not put the air conditioning so high, and what was the other thing? We shouldn't bathe that often. Wow. But she got a lot of complaints over her, and she retracted it somehow a little bit.
Good. Mrs. Sneek, we also have some local situation that has, you know, they have brought the attention of the local community, and that's the excavation, the work of our slave ancestors at the airport. There has been persons who have voiced their concern as to what is happening. Do you have any information with regards to the concerns that has been presented to the Island Council? I know you all have sat, you all have discussed it. If I'm not mistaken, it came up in the Island Council at one point in time. What can you say to quell the concerns of the people of Statia where that is concerned?
Yeah, well, the excavations have been discontinued for some time already, pending an advice from a committee that have been installed. I find it kind of unfortunate, and well, of course, when I say it's all about emotions, that people might jump on my back and that yeah, it are not my ancestors. I think worldwide it is customary when you find something like that you have to deal with it. They didn't start excavating because of excavating sake. They needed some development to take place at the airport, and then they found this old gravesite, and I find it kind of unfortunate. I think you also need to look at the positive. At least now there is an opportunity that also the history from the local people will be more explored. Up to now, when you talk about Johannes de Graaf and even the first salute, that was not really the history of your ancestors, that was more the history of my ancestor, the West Indian Company, these people that came from Zeeland and North Holland and where they came from. And I think this opens the opportunity to find out more about the Statia people ancestry. And it is kind of unfortunate that it comes now in a discussion like that we might miss out on that. And I think it should be fair.
So in other words, they're going to go back and look at the Atlantic slave trade and find some information with regards to these very same, the slave history of Statia.
Yeah, where your ancestors really are coming from. Which part of Africa, if those people that are buried there.
But what significance is that information for us?
But I think everybody wants to know what their ancestry looks like and what your heritage is. Now the Statia history, and I say it again, if you have you just had Statia Day, that is what we celebrate as Statia history, but it is really not so. Your history is what is buried there, and in Kazu, where they came from.
Okay.
And I think to me it would have been if I was a station a black station with African descent, I really would wanted to know
Where you come from?
yeah, and who was buried there and where they come from.
Okay, all right. I hope that those who have listened, that offer some kind of explanation to them. We have exactly 8 o'clock, and exactly in the next 20 minutes, our 1 hour is up with Mr. Sneek. The number is 3185828. If you would like to speak direct to our distinguished guest, Councilman Mr. Sneek, here on PJE 90.3 FM. Mr. Sneek, one of another heavyweight topic in the Island Council was the Golden Rock homes and the potential. We know there was one point in time the PLP faction in the council has wanted to sell those homes. Who is actually the owners of these homes? I understood, correct me if I'm wrong, that now some homeowners, I understood, has been giving a new fee. Some of them are charged up to $700 for their homes. Yeah, that's what I was made to understand. A new fee has been out. So what happens with the homes? I mean, it was long discussed in the council with regards to the Golden Rock homes, and the PLP faction, Mr. Clive Van Putten, has talked about selling those homes, and now we have a new group of people that will potentially manage the homes.
And for starters, the Golden Rock homes, they belong to the island government.
Okay.
And to nobody else. And anybody is being charged $700. I don't think that's correct. I think it was the amount is $750. I think that is what the
$750.
That's not what the people pay, but that is I think it's $750, not $700. But that is what the rent actually supposed to be of those homes.
Okay.
But there lies an ordinance which has been turned down, mainly because the PLP voted against for the rent subsidy, and that allows that people don't pay more than they are able to pay based upon their income, and there will be no, as far at least the present tenants who will ever pay the $750. The rent will be set at $750. Then there will be checked how much the tenant can afford, and the difference will be subsidized.
Okay.
And let's assume you live there and you make $3,000 a month, and at the moment you pay $250, which is actually too less based upon your salary. The rent can be adjusted of a maximum of 5% per year, plus the inflation. So if the inflation nowadays is around 2%, so that means your rent can not be increased with more than 7%. That also brings me to the point that when I asked that question, that about 25% of the tenants of the Golden Rock homes, they're making a salary that should prevent them from living in those homes, because they are for the low income people. They're social homes, and that's also a serious issue, because these people actually need to move on in different kind of homes and leave the Golden Rock homes for the people that can't
So
afford
many
it.
of these very same people are living there nearly all their life, and
Yeah.
Are we to see in the very near future that these people would get a letter stating that, look, the rent would be this amount, either
Yeah.
you are no longer qualified to stay there, or you will be paid, you will soon have to pay that $750 or maybe that $650, but either you pay $600 or whatever, but either that you may have to leave. Would we be seeing that anytime in the future?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And also because what I just said, the rent cannot be increased with more than 5% per year plus the inflation. So if the inflation is 2, then the rent next year goes up with 7%. Well, it takes many years for you to reach the 750. But it is a fact that there are people living in the Golden Rock homes that do not belong there. Also, like families. It is not the income of the main tenant, it is the family income. So if you live there with an adult and 3 children who all make an income of, let's say, the minimum wage, then you talk about $4,000-5,000, what comes in as family income. That is far above that the income that should allow you to live in these homes. And they need to be found to solve that problem. And why? Because there are more than 100 people on a waiting list who are looking for a social home, and it's not available at the moment. And if you know then that 25%, there are 80 of those Golden Rock homes, so you talk about at least 20 homes that can be made available for people that really can't afford to live somewhere else.
So what would be the worst scenario for those individuals?
Which individuals?
These people that has a family that potentially is making that amount of figure.
I think it will be very difficult to get them out of the homes just like that. So I don't think they need to worry that tomorrow they will be on the street. But sometimes you also have to ask to check what is their own civic duty, and if you can afford a regular home, why should you keep occupying a social home?
Okay, 15 minutes before the program comes to a close, we're here with our guest, Mr. Koos Sneek. The number to call is 318-5828. Again, 318-5828. We are very happy that you could have been here to bring us up to date on issues that are relevant to Statia. Just this week, again, we're going to come back on the ferry service. So with regards to the ferry service, it was supposed to start 1st of November. Then I read in the best report that it's going to start on the 1st of December. Is that still the date for this ferry service?
The latest information that I got is that the official launching will be this weekend.
Oh.
I think Sunday.
Okay.
But I guess that I still need to reach the media. So that's the 28th of this month.
Yeah, that'll be the 27th.
27th.
Yeah, the 25th is Friday, the 26th.
No, 26th. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Sunday.
Right, 26th. Okay. So that's for a few days more than the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the service will commence, the ferry service will commence, we will have a ferry service during the month of December.
It's supposed so.
Okay. Good. Very good. As we're wrapping up our discussion, there's also the situation with the boats, the fishermen, and the service that they used to render to the general public. We understand the Inspector Luke is requiring and asking a lot of the do's and the don'ts, and in terms of what they can have and what they can't have. But in the past, many of the boats was used to offer a good assistance to the general public. Okay. What can you say to us for those fishermen that have concerns with regards to their service that they used to offer to the general public?
You know, I think one thing is that the rules that you call him Inspector Luke is from the shipping inspection.
Inspection, yeah.
He's following the law. And that the law is in first instance made to protect, to safeguard the travelers. I think that is what they have to bear in mind first. I think that somehow a solution needs to be found, because those fishermen that were accustomed to transport passengers, that they still can do that. But that does not mean that they should not abide by the rules and the regulations.
Okay, all right. Regional listeners, again, the number is 318-5828 if you so care to post your question to Councilman Mr. Sneek. Mr. Sneek, GTI, former station terminal, is here on the island, and the concern has reached the Island Council as well with regards to what is happening. What could you share with us with regards to GTI? We understand, or it is said that there's very little activities. They are concerned with the way and the direction the company is going. Could you inform us or give us some insight as to what is happening with Station Terminals GTI?
Well, I had a meeting a number of weeks back already with Mr. De Gaans. He is the acting manager there, and the picture that he was painting was rather bleak. Difficulties paying the bills, the suppliers, difficulties to pay the subcontractors, difficulties to pay the taxes, and we were trying to get a meeting with management as the Island Council, with the CEO from the States.
From the States.
What's his name? Mr. Roller. And that was to take place a few weeks ago, but it was cancelled from their part. And now we're supposed to have a closed door session with them this coming Thursday.
Okay.
With the Central Committee, because we are also concerned about the developments there. You can see it. You see less ships in. I talked about it. I remember in the heydays that you had between 1,500 and 200 ships a year, and now the amount is around 400. So that's not a good development, especially if you realize that still the oil terminal is one of the main economic drivers of our island.
Right. All right, Mr. Sneek, we're winding down. Just before we close the program with you, we again want to thank you for being here and sharing with us. Do you have any closing comment? Maybe we have missed something that is very important. We give you the opportunity to say such.
All right. Well, I enjoyed the conversation. Honestly, I was wondering what to expect, but I have to compliment you.
Thank you.
The interview went pretty okay. Well, I can close by saying that this Friday I'm traveling to the Netherlands. I was scheduled to go already. I'm speaking in a congress in The Hague on the 8th and the 9th of December, and I make all kind of appointments and meetings around that. And now also the other Island Council members decided to go. So I think around the 1st of December they're going to join me in the Netherlands, and we meet among other with BZK, with Basalt, which is previously it was Woonlinie. So
Woonlinie before.
That is the housing foundation that that is dealing with the Golden Rock homes. We're going to meet with the Ministry of Health regarding certificate, of course,
right.
And the dialysis center, what we would like to see on Statia, and a number of other meetings. And so I think it is very important. We hope that everything goes as planned, because COVID is going through the roof in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But it looked like everything is going ahead as planned. And I think it is about time again that we see some people there face to face, instead of all those Zoom meetings, because you can do much more, you get much better through when you can look one another straight in the eye.
Is would one of the topics be the issue concerning the 2018, the fact the intervention, would that be
definitely
one of the topics?
we meet with the combined committees Kingdom Relations from the first and the second chamber. I can't bring up the date, but that is the number one topic on the agenda with them, because we want to move on. I think the majority of the Island Council believes that it took long enough and we need to get it over with. So that is the main topic. Another important topic that we want to discuss with them is the free allowance. That is the money that we get in the budget that comes from The Hague.
Right.
For years already it is known that the amount that we get is not sufficient, and it is about time that will be straightened out.
Any other appointed commissioners is participating in this discussion?
Well, that's part of the return to democracy.
Okay.
I think we need to have our own commissioners again, and of course also The Hague and in particular Knops, they are kind of scared who that will be, and well, no matter who, democracy is democracy. I always compare the situation that we are in now with the last time it happened in the Netherlands, which was in 1951. That is 70 years ago, in the town Finsterwolde in Groningen, where the Communist Party made a mess, and they were put aside, and a government commissioner was appointed. This, by the way, was not somebody from outside, but the mayor, the burgemeester.
Okay.
He became the government commissioner, and within a year, everything went back to normal. No elections were postponed, and the joke is also this Communist Party who caused the confusion. In the next election,
they still won.
Got one seat more than before.
Wow.
And basically here something similar happened. The PLP, who is accused of causing the problems, well, came back with three
seats.
So they actually came back stronger. And well, that is democracy. And some people say, yeah, but it looked like you're teaming up with them. No, that's not the case. A lot of issues I do not agree with. I also, and I'd say it again, I was in favor of the intervention, not against. I find things went wrong at the time. But that doesn't mean that you should not return and be afraid of the ones who might become the commissioners. And you need to have some, I call it, some control over it,
right.
that it isn't going in the drain again. But I find it is about time that we get back to normal.
Mr. Sneek, we want to thank you very much for being part of the program. We also want you to know that you're always welcome to come back here.
Yeah.
And if anytime you want to say anything, meet the public, you are more than welcome. And we look forward to that.
Thank you.
All the best. Safe trip to the Netherlands, and continue your good work. Thank you.
Thank you.